Brian Wright just keeps doing other teams wrong. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you had a great weekend, and oh my goodness, what a trade it happened. De'Aaron Fox is a San Antonio Spur, and I ask you this, whatever. Did the Spurs fleece the Kings and the Bulls? I'll answer that just in a few moments. Let's get to the report card from CBS Sports. Thank you, Ms. TSR Sports, for sending that to me. De'Aaron Fox trade grades. Spurs fleece Kings and Bulls again as Victor Wembanyama gets a new sidekick. Yes, he does. Let's get going. Let's go. All right, we got a lot of stuff to scroll through here. First, to give the San Antonio Spurs an A. Forget about Fox himself for a moment. Think about what the Spurs still have right now. And this is a big part of this trade. All 8 players that have played at least 500 minutes for the team this season. All 7 of their first-round picks since 2019 that were still on the roster entering the season. Castle, Wemby, Sohan, Branham, Wesley, Vassell, Johnson. All 3, and this is a big one, of the unprotected Atlanta Hawks first-round picks, they controlled 2 outright, 1 via swap. That was from the DeJounte Murray trade. All but 1 of their own tradable first-round picks in every single first-round swap they've accumulated through previous drafts. Woo! So right now, the Spurs not only have Wemby, the future face of the league, and Fox, a worthy all-star sidekick for him, but they basically still have everything else they need to build a dynasty. I like the sound of that. All of their young talent, all of their cap flexibility, while those young players on below-market rookie scale deals, most of their draft capital. Indeed. And this is really poignant right here. Really think about the picks that they traded, Spurs fans. The 2025 Hornets pick? I don't want to say it's fake, but it's lottery protected. The Hornets suck, and the Hornets aren't making the playoffs. No chance, no how. And how about the 2025 Bulls pick? Not quite as fake. Interesting using the word fake here. But with a top 8 protection, and I thought it was top 10 protected this year. It's top 8. It was right on the bubble of not conveying, and since the Bulls themselves controlled that pick, they could have tipped the scales towards keeping it by just tanking more aggressively. The 2027 pick of their own they sent out is going to be hopefully at the end of the line, going to be at the end of the first round if Wemby. Let's start that sentence over. The 2027 pick of their own they sent out is going to be at the end of the first round if Wemby and Fox are as good together as we assume they will be. These are mostly weak picks. They really are. With all the draft capital we have, we gave up some of the worst draft capital that we have. In regards to, let me stop here before we get into the Kings grade. The Spurs, with De'Aaron Fox, and I've thought about it. I've had time to digest the trade. Our pick and roll, Spurs fans, is going to be insane. I was listening to ESPN today, and pick and roll points, 3 out of, when it comes to how many points you get per screen in the NBA, we have 3 out of the top 6 guys now. Fox himself is number 6, Wemby's number 2, and CP3 is number 1. Yeah, pick and roll is going to be absolutely deadly. The Sacramento Kings get a D for dumb. Okay. In fairness to the Kings, Fox put them in a difficult position. Yes, he certainly did. The whole league knew he wanted to go to San Antonio. That limited the offers other teams are willing to make. Getting fair value back for Fox may not have been plausible. All right, yes, they were in a pickle there. But, Kings, what are we doing here? What's the actual goal? Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan played parts of the last 3 seasons together in Chicago. The Bulls went 81-75 with both on the court. That's right. The Kings have slowly turned into the Sacramento Bulls. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine didn't quite work in Chicago. Yes, there's different parts around the Kings, Domantas Sabonis, etc. Are you really expecting different results bringing those 2 in Chicago to Sacramento? I think not. I don't see how this... I don't get that. I wouldn't do that. If I'm looking at 2 guys that are kind of being mid-playoff, making the playoffs, getting knocked out with another team, why bring both players over? Unless I have a bona fide superstar, and Sabonis is a good player, but is he enough? And is the rest of the roster enough to get them to the promised land? Doubt it. And the Chicago Bulls, and I think this is actually being gracious with a D. I'd probably give this an F. Yes, the Bulls got their own 2025 first-round pick back from the Spurs, but that pick was top 8 protected. All it would have taken to keep that pick was more losing. The Bulls are in danger of giving the Bulls are in danger of getting that pickup, but mostly due to their own incompetence, this team can't even tank properly. Ouch. Yeah. Close on this. The last 9 months represented a real chance for the Bulls to reset and build this thing properly in that span. Think about this. In that span, they failed. Build this thing properly, period. In that span, they failed to net a single first-round pick for Caruso, DeRozan, or LaVine, aside from the one they could have kept simply by losing more games. I'm sorry, my mind's going a million miles a minute. I probably should just read what's on the screen and get my thoughts out later. This trade's got me all sorts of bananas. The Bulls have very little to show for the teardown that began last summer. They're basically starting from scratch now. That's better than where they were with LaVine and DeRozan, but it's far worse off than where they could be right now, and that's the end of the article. And there, plow right there. Let's get back to the question. Of course, I would certainly appreciate it if you guys answer the question too in the comments. Did the Spurs fleece the Kings? Did the Spurs fleece the Bulls? Does this feel like a fleecing overall? I'm going to say yes. Considering they gave up none of those Atlanta picks, and I repeat, none of their young core. This is a grand slam by Brian Wright. Guys, this is not the same old Spurs. Times have changed, and wow, just wow. And I admittedly was on the fence for this. The biggest, biggest reasons, 3 of them. This is another not-so-great three-point shooter coming to the roster. He's shooting under 33% for the season. He's 33% for his career. We have a whole lot of non-shooters. That does concern me, but he is a scorer within the arc. I don't think he's going above the rim as much as he used to when he was younger, should I say. But he's fast. Yeah, he's going to bring a lot to the table for us. Number 2 reason I was kind of on the fence in this is, how's it going to affect Stephon Castle? Is he going to take minutes away? Is he still going to stay in the rotation the same? In the end, I'm trying to look at a positive and saying Castle can now learn from CP3 and De'Aaron Fox. Castle is not explosive getting to the rim speed-wise like Fox, but he is a good finisher above the rim. He's built pretty well for if he's going to be a point guard in the future. He's a big guy for a point guard, and maybe he can learn some things from De'Aaron about getting to the rim and know when to hold him and when to fold him. When to pass, when to shoot, etc., etc. And then number 3, and this was the really big one that wanted me to maybe not pursue this. I thought, Spurs fans, and I know a lot of you feel the same way, I thought we were going to have to give up so much more for Fox. I thought Castle maybe, Vassell, Sohan, even Kelman, one of our young guys, maybe 2 of our young guys would be traded. Not in my wildest dreams that I think Zach Collins would be traded as part of this, that we would be able to unload that contract. I wish him well. I know we're making a lot of jokes about him being gone, but no way I thought he was getting traded. And this worked out so much better than I could have ever imagined. Keeping all our most important draft capital, all those Atlanta picks, all our young guys, everybody. We lost Trey Jones, who probably wasn't coming back. We already mentioned Zach, who was stuck in garbage time. And then Sidy Cissoko, maybe there was something there, maybe not. It's not a huge loss. He was another non-shooter, so there is that. This worked out so much better, and when I look at our lineups now moving forward, because a lot of you have been asking about it, De'Aaron Fox is going to start. I don't think he's playing tonight. He's got to pass physicals, the other stuff. Get a chance to practice with the team tomorrow and Wednesday before the Wednesday night game against the previously mentioned Atlanta Hawks. And that's going to really give our team some much-needed depth. Chris Paul should be coming off the bench, and he's going to replace Trey Jones. And the offense should run so much better with him running it than Trey. That's a big upgrade. And limiting Chris Paul minutes will keep him fresher. Asking this guy at his age to play 35 to 40 minutes, that's probably not a good idea. Keeping him around 20 or so, that should work out great. I think the one thing missing from the roster now is a backup big. With Collins gone, that leaves Bassi and Mamu. Bassi has played well in spurts. Can the Spurs rely on him? I don't know. The team's starting to see a lean on Mama a little more, but I think Mama's much more suited as a backup 4 than a 5. So maybe one more trade will happen. We'll certainly keep our eyes peeled for that. I want to thank everybody that hit me up on the Twitter, by the way, or email. Cowboy X Factor, the Biscuit Buddy, Carlos Jeter. You guys were all getting the news to me as quick as possible. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Please keep doing that, by the way. This was incredible, and things are coming together so nicely as a Spurs fan. I'm sorry if I'm a little erratic today. This is just, I'm shocked it happened and the way it did. I guess that's the biggest takeaway from this trade is how? Why do teams keep trading with Brian Wright? What is he doing? What is he? He's doing a little HJ under the table. That was inappropriate. I'm sorry. But I don't know what's going on. This is a phenomenal trade. And I'm sorry, Brian. I'm just kidding. I wrote through about that. It is what it is. I make jokes all the time. This was a great trade, and we're going to be a lot of fun to watch the rest of the season. So, again, drop a comment down below. Give some grades, too. Grade for the Spurs. Grade for the Kings. Grade for the Bulls. I got to think most Bulls fans, if you're stopping, not going to give them a very good grade. This is not a good way to start a rebuild. Yes, they're cutting a lot of salary, but their draft capital. They got their own pick back. That's it. They should have asked for more. So thank you. Comment, like, subscribe. You know all the good deals. See tonight for the Grizzlies. That's going to be a tough game, but man, it's going to be a fun week. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs go.